The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. Your time now is 5:02 and breaking overnight. A man is in the hospital this morning after he was shot at a local bar. Police say the call came in just before 2 a.m. at the VIP Lounge on California Avenue. That's where BPD says a man was shot in the leg. He was taken to the hospital, but there's no word on his condition. Police say the shooter fled southbound on California Avenue in a silver car before turning east on Bell Terrace. The investigation's ongoing. Yesterday at the state capitol building, more than 1,000 people rallied against the addition of the COVID vaccine to the California Public Schools vaccination requirements.
Kern County saw demonstrations of its own. And 17's Chris Burton joins us live this morning from the Kern County Superintendent of Schools in downtown Bakersfield, where hundreds gathered yesterday to make their frustrations very clear. Chris, good morning.
Good morning to you, Alex. And passing cars actually honked in support as students and teachers who had skipped school flooded the sidewalk and the street. But KCSOS saying last night that its hands are tied. A statewide protest against a COVID vaccine mandate for school children sent ripple effects across the county yesterday. Children of all ages sat out of school and teachers walked off the job.
It's, our American right to say no to something foreign in our bodies that we don't want.
Rosedale Union and Kern High School districts both saw 20% increases in absences yesterday. Norris School District, where parents led a demonstration against the mandate last week, logged more than 30 teacher absences. Many of those teachers and students and their parents made their way to the Kern County Superintendent of Schools offices downtown Bakersfield, where the crowd was so large it spilled into the street.
I'm not against the vaccine. I think the vaccine's a great thing, and the fact that we developed one so quick, that's great. It's beautiful. But I don't think we should be mandating it for every student in the state yet. I think it should be up to the parents to make that decision.
Though the group's actions may have been misdirected. In a statement, KCSOS explained the mandate is a state order, meaning school districts and even the superintendent's office have little sway. In fact, school districts could face legal and financial consequences for noncompliance. And exemptions for the COVID vaccine requirement will be broader than those for other vaccine requirements required in California public schools. The state allows for a personal belief exemption, which has a broader definition than any of those other vaccine requirement exemptions. Live in Bakersfield, Chris Burton, 17 News.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. 5:05 is our time now, and some parents who had their kids skip school yesterday rallied in a show of solidarity against the vaccine mandate. A group of Rosedale parents gathered at Silver Oak Park to what they call pray for the children. Organizers say it was an opportunity for the faithful to meet other religious parents who are against the mandates, adding it started as an idea between a couple of families and grew to include anyone who wanted to attend.
Mandate or not mandate, mask or no mask, vaccinated or not vaccinated, what we saw as fathers, as husbands, as people in the community is that there's a void that's being created, a void by which chaos and confusion and fear is creating this divide within the world. And in that divide, we see a day like today where it could have just been a bunch of families just taking a day off. And we wanted to fill that void with Christ.
The gathering was followed by a lunch for all kids who were present.
And as mentioned, more than 1,000 people took to the streets outside the Capitol building yesterday to protest the pending vaccination mandate. The mandate won't take effect until the school term that starts after the FDA's full approval of the vaccine. The mandate would be phased in starting with 7th to 12th grades, followed after by students in K through 6th. Pfizer's vaccine has full FDA approval for those 16 years and older and is offered to those as young as 12 under an emergency use authorization.
Those protests coming on the same day we learned of another 10 lives lost due to COVID-19 here in Kern County. Kern Public Health also announced 768 new cases yesterday. Currently, there are 214 people in the hospital with more severe symptoms of the virus. 59 people are in the ICU.
For those interested in getting a COVID vaccine, Kern Public Health is teaming up with CAP-K for another round of free vaccination clinics. They're happening throughout the next 2 weeks in Taft, Arvin, Bakersfield, and Shafter. The next event is tomorrow at Primeros Pasos Head Start School, and that's on Bush Street in Taft. It's open from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. As always, vaccines come at no cost. For more times and locations, head to our website, kget.com, and click the hot link icon. And new this morning, the Food and Drug Administration is planning to allow Americans to mix and match their COVID vaccines. According to a report in the New York Times, the FDA is expected to announce authorization for Johnson & Johnson and Moderna boosters by tomorrow. And the mixing and matching of vaccine boosters may also be coming this week. As of now, health experts prefer you stick with the same brand when it comes to the mixing of vaccine doses.
I stand before you to announce my candidacy for Congress.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and yesterday, Bakersfield Assemblymember Rudy Salas announced his intention to run for Congress. Salas will challenge Hanford Republican David Valadeo. He joins a growing list of Democratic candidates in the running for the 21st District seat, including Delano Mayor Brian Osorio, former Assembly member Nicole Parra, and Angel Lara, a former staffer for U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein. Several activists spoke on Salas's behalf, including UFW co-founder Dolores Huerta.
Our own Rudy Salas, somebody who grew up here, right here in the Central Valley, that has been here forever, working for all of us. You know that he was the first Latino elected to the City Council in Bakersfield in 112 years, okay? A long time. You know the one thing about Rudy, that he represents all of the constituents, everybody. Yes. Everybody from agriculture, the energy sectors, even the green energy sectors, okay? He is there for everybody.
As for Salas, he says if he's elected to national office, he will bring positive changes that benefit Central Valley citizens, something he says has not been happening under present leadership.
Today, we say enough is enough. Yeah. We need a representative who governs not by obstruction, but for opportunity. Not as a puppet to national political parties or extremists, but by doing what is right for working families right here in the state.
California's primary election day is set for June 7th, 2022.
If you're a customer of Pacific Gas and Electric, you could see a major change to your rate plan in early 2022. The utility says it's moving some residential customers to a time of use rate plan, which will take effect in February. The new rate plan is designed to discourage energy usage when demand is highest. That means during peak hours between 4 and 9 p.m. Energy rates will be more expensive. PG&E says about 26,000 current customers will be affected. This change was made to align with state regulations for all investor-owned electric utilities. Recapping our top stories, a man's hospitalized after being shot at a local bar overnight. Police say the call came in just before 2 a.m. at VIP Lounge on California Avenue. That's where BPD says a man was shot in the leg. He was taken to the hospital. No word on his condition this morning or any arrests. A statewide protest against a COVID vaccine mandate for school children and staff sent ripples across the county yesterday. Kids of all ages sat out of school and teachers walked off the job. In a statement, KCSOS explained the mandate is a state order, meaning school districts and even the superintendent's office have little sway. If you're a customer of Pacific Gas and Electric, you could see a major change to your rate plan in early 2022. The utility says it's moving some residential customers to a time of use rate plan, which will take effect in February. PG&E says about 26,000 current customers will be affected.
This morning, the urgent effort continues to find a group of American missionaries and their families who were kidnapped over the weekend in Haiti. The abductions exposing the depths of the country's chaos. Sam Brock has the latest.
48 hours after the start of an international crisis and 1 day after an FBI team touched down in Haiti, still no answers about whether 17 kidnapped missionaries will be rescued or how.
The FBI is part of a coordinated U.S. government effort to get the U.S. citizens involved to safety.
Part of that effort, a State Department team now also on the ground. The Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministries says among those abducted are 16 Americans, 5 of whom are children. On the streets of Port-au-Prince and Miami, pleas for help for those living in violence.
You can get out to find food because if you get out, they're going to kidnap you.
Immigrants' rights protesters lying on pavement, demanding an end to Haitian deportations. After earthquakes, a presidential assassination, and kidnappings forced many to flee.
For your nephews and nieces, do you worry that they will not survive another week, month, year in Haiti?
Every day you live in Haiti, you're lucky. Every single day you live in Haiti, you see another day, you are lucky.
The wave of kidnappings appears to be skyrocketing. A UN report identifies around 330 kidnappings in the first 8 months of the year, or 100 more than all of last year. But research out of Haiti points to much larger figures, with 600 plus kidnappings through September, including a threefold increase in just 3 months. Tessa Petit with the Florida Immigrant Coalition was born and raised in Haiti.
It is like living in a war zone. You don't know when you're going to get shot at. You don't know when you're going to get kidnapped.
Dr. Richard Frechette runs this hospital near Port-au-Prince, where it's believed armed gangs control half the city. He has to negotiate with them to get oxygen tanks for COVID patients.
It's hair-raising because you're going to have 40 dead people in your hospital in a matter of hours if you don't succeed. And it's very complex when you have to go through a gang to get the oxygen.
Your time now is 5:35. From our 17 News follow-up file, we now know the name of a woman killed in a head-on crash near Irvin. The crash was reported just before 2 yesterday on Wheeler Ridge and Teal Roads. CHP says a semi-truck and another vehicle collided head-on, and the semi ended up in a ditch. 21-year-old Jasmine Leanne Sufi was killed in that crash. It's unclear what led up to the crash or if drugs or alcohol were involved. We also learned the name of a man shot and killed in Lamont over the weekend. It happened on Primrose Avenue and Paradise Road Saturday around 5:15 p.m. 36-year-old Ruben Anthony Aguilar Sr. was found dead. Sheriff's investigators say a white vehicle sped away from the scene after the gunfire, but no description of the shooter was available this morning. By our count, this brings the number of homicides this year in Kern County to 112.
In your 17 Crime Watch this morning, Bakersfield police are asking for your help identifying a man who allegedly fired a gun inside a local Walmart. This is a picture of the suspect. The shooting happened on October 1st, just before 10:30 in the morning, inside the store on Rosedale Highway. BPD says no one was hurt, but we know of one person who was grazed by a bullet. If you know who this man is, you're asked to call police.
In your 17 Court Watch now, a man who police say drove at speeds over 100 miles per hour when he lost control and crashed, killing 2 passengers, is due in court today. Police say 19-year-old Andrew Fenderson was impaired by cocaine and marijuana at the time of the February 7th crash. According to a search warrant, Fenderson's black BMW barreled along Ming Avenue at speeds between 112 to 119 miles per hour when he lost control and slammed into a pole. 33-year-old Daniel Davalos and 21-year-old Destiny Munoz were killed. Fenderson has pleaded not guilty. He's due in court today for a preliminary hearing.
Firefighters have made even more progress toward full containment of the Alisal fire in Santa Barbara County. Officials say cooler weather and increased moisture levels have helped in their efforts. More than 1,300 people are fighting the Alisal fire, which has burned more than 17,000 acres. It started October 11th. Containment is up to 87% this morning, with full containment estimated by next Monday. The cause of the wildfire is still unknown. Containment is also growing on the Windy fire. It is now 91% contained this morning. Full containment is estimated by November 1st. The Windy fire has burned more than 97,000 acres on the Thule River Indian Reservation and the Sequoia National Forest since it was sparked by lightning September 9th. More than 300 firefighters are still working on this fire.
Kings Canyon National Park reopened with reduced services yesterday after being closed for over a month due to the KNP Complex fire. Park officials say there is no longer a threat of fire in these areas. Areas that will reopen include the Big Stump entrance station on Highway 180, the Grant Grove area, including the General Grant Tree, as well as Cedar Grove and areas of Great Western Divide. The KNP complex fire has burned more than 88,000 acres and is 55% contained.
Bakersfield College is celebrating Undocumented Student Action Week this week with a lineup of virtual events in an effort to advocate and provide support services for undocumented students. Administrators say this year's Action Week serves as an opportunity to highlight the challenges faced by undocumented students and opportunities to engage in the discussion around bolstering the available support. Students must register for the virtual events. For more information, just go to kget.com. Welcome back. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but one local realtor says being aware of the problem is simply not enough. Nana Darling is hosting a drive-in support of the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. Organizers are asking for brand new, unworn underwear and other clothes for victims of domestic violence. The drive runs now through October 29th. For more information on how and what to donate, just head to our website, kget.com, and click on the hot link icon. And just a reminder, if you experience domestic violence or know someone who has, there is help available. If it is an emergency, always call 911. You can also call the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault at 322-0931 or their crisis line at 327-1091 or the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE.
17 Health Watch now. Local law enforcement agencies are accepting expired, unused, and unwanted prescription drugs this weekend as part of the National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. The Bakersfield Police Department is partnering with Kaiser Permanente for a drive-through event Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 3501 Stockdale Highway. Volunteers will be on hand to remove items from vehicles. First responders are accepting tablets, capsules, patches, and other solid forms of prescription drugs.
Adventist Health Bakersfield is offering free childhood immunizations against vaccine-preventable diseases at a number of sites this month. The next one is set for today from 9:30 till 2 in the parking lot of La Hacienda Market in Shafter. Children over the age of 5 do require an appointment. For more information, just visit our website, kget.com.
And looking ahead, you can take a drive and celebrate Halloween at a trunk-or-treat car show at the Lavender Garden in Lost Hills this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Among the festivities, a pumpkin patch, face painting, and a costume contest with prizes. Local car clubs can enter the best decorated car competition. Trunk-or-treat style candy giveaways will be provided. Just make sure you bring your own bag. For more information and tickets, visit kget.com. And you can trick-or-treat and enjoy a movie Saturday the 30th at the Outlets at Tejon. They're bringing back their annual Halloween event. Cinema Under the Stars will kick off at 4 p.m. with trick-or-treating stations throughout the outlets, followed by a drive-in movie at 6:30 p.m. Officials say it's a safe, fun place for community and visitors to shop and enjoy Halloween festivities, and costumes are, of course, encouraged.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.